Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to make the long-awaited men's crochet granny stitch shirt. This can be a men's shirt as well as a women's throw-on shrug, as you can see in these images. So it can double as a men's shirt as well as a women's throw-on. For example, in this image, it's paired with the granny stitch set that we have just done in our previous videos. So if you would like to check out the tutorials for this to make a matching set, then after this video, make sure you go check out the links of these videos in the description box below. So we also have a written pattern for the shirt. Don't forget to check out the link in the description box below as well. So I'm going to use the granny stitch, and for this particular video, I followed a sizing chart that I'll be leaving on the screen. And another thing that I considered, I found this sizing chart on the smaller side. So if you're to use this sizing chart to follow the instructions for the sizing chart to make your shirt, I would rather you go a size up. If you're making for a medium, consider large. If you're making for a large, consider extra large, so that we get that kind of drip and so that we get that loose-ish fitting. That's the look that I'm going for. So for me, I will be making for a size medium, so I'll follow the instructions for size large, as you'll see later on in the video. So let's jump right into the materials. For today's materials, we are using this yarn. It's Seagull, it's a 4-ply acrylic yarn, it's light fingering weight yarn. So the hook that I'll be using for this project is a 3.5mm crochet hook, as you can see here. And then you also need a pair of scissors, a measuring tape, and a darning needle. So the fact that the black color won't be seen in the video, I'm going to substitute the stitch demonstration with this light blue color. It's the same exact brand, so that we can see the stitches clearly, and yeah, so that the instructions can be easily followed by the viewer. So I used black for my actual shirt, as you can see here. This is one of the panels. This is what the granny stitch looks like in black, and that's exactly what I want to achieve. But for demonstration purposes, I'll be using this light blue color so that you can see the stitches clearly and follow along easily. So you're going to put this away, and we are going to grab our yarn. I used about 5 to 6 balls, so each ball is 300 yards. So that means a total of 6 balls, 6 times 300, that is 1,800 yards. You're going to make a slip knot. You're going to start off with a slip knot, and you're going to make a chain that runs from the top of your shoulder up to where you want your shirt to stop. And for me, that is a total of 132 chains. That's what I started with. We're going to start off with the back panel. So you're going to make your chain that measures from the top of your shoulder down to where you want your shirt to stop. For me, I started with 132. And this chain should be a multiple of 6. Make sure you have a multiple of 6. All right, guys, I have my 132 chains, and I want my shirt to measure approximately 25 inches. Let's see what we have right now. You can see 25 inches without stretching at all. That's what we have. So we're going on to row 1. For row 1, you're going to go into the 4th chain from the hook. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into your 4th chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's a double crochet in the US terms. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So basically, the very first chain 3 at the beginning of the row counts as a double crochet, and now we have 2 more double crochets. That's a total of 3 double crochets so far. Then you're going to make a chain of 1, skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and you're going to place 3 double crochets into the next chain. So you skip 2 chains and place 3 double crochets into the next chain, just like that. Chain 1, skip 2 chains, 3 double crochets into the next chain. This is going to start creating that granny stitch that we want for our design or pattern. This is what you're going to have. You're going to repeat that all the way across. Chain 1, skip 2 chains and 3 double crochets into the next chain. Just repeat that all the way across, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the row to show you how to wind up the row. Alright guys, we've come to the end of row 1. It's raining outside, so the water is kind of spilling onto my desk. So let me just rush through here and I switch position to another place. So I'm coming to the end of row 1 and I have 3 chains left. You will make a chain of 1 and skip over 2 chains, and into the very last chain you're going to place 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. So that marks the end of row 1. This is what it should look like. So we're going on to row 2. For row 2, you start off with a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, and turn your work. Now when you turn your work, we are now going to start working in the chain 1 spaces of the previous row. So you go into the first chain 1 space of the previous row and place 3 double crochets. Now the row will start shifting and you'll start enjoying the stitch. After this, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, just like that. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Note, we are not placing stitches into the stitches from the row below. We are just going into the chain 1 spaces. Chain 1, go into the next chain 1 space with a total of 3 double crochets. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. So we are going to repeat that all the way across, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the row. This is row 2. This is what your work should look like. Alright guys, I had to close the window because the water was pouring on the desk. And we've just placed our last 3 double crochets into the last chain 1 space of the previous row. So after this, you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over 2 stitches, and on top of the chain 3, you're going to place a double crochet. So that's how we end our row 2. This is what your work will look like after row 2. Now we're going on to row 3, and for row 3 you start off with a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet. Turn your work and place 2 more double crochets into the very first chain 1 space. So that will give you a total of 3 double crochets, because the chain 3 at the beginning of the row counts as a double crochet. And then make a chain of 1 and 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. So you're going to repeat that all the way across, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the row. And I'll show you how to wind up row 3, and I'll also let you know the repeat rows. Alright, so we've come to the end of row 3 and I've just placed my 3 double crochets in this chain 1 space. You're going to make a chain of 1 and go into the last space with a total of 3 double crochets. Now you're just going to repeat rows 2 and 3 again and again until this measures half of your chest measurement, as you can see on the sizing chart. For me, that was 43 inches. So I'm going to make this until this can grow to 21.5 inches because that's half of the 43. So whatever measurement that you ended up considering, just divide it into 2 and you're going to keep working this stitch until you have your half of that measurement. I did a total of 44 rows for the black version, my actual piece, and this is what it looked like. Look at how beautiful that stitch is, especially for a man. I just feel like black is the best color. So I did a total of 44 rows, so just keep working rows 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, and keep alternating between the 2 rows. And then let's go onto the front panels. After this, once you get half of measurement A, you're going to fold over and put it aside. That will be your back panel. Now for the front panel, we shall repeat the same exact process, the same exact number of starting chains, and we're going to keep working until we have. Now, remember our measurement A was 43 for my sample, but it's going to differ depending on the size that you're making for. So I'm considering measurement A as 43. So for my back panel, I am considering 43 divided by 2, which is a total of 21.5. So I worked my back panel until I got 21.5 inches across. So for the front panel, you're going to consider this. Actually, this one, 21.5. All right, guys, so for the front panel, you're going to get your initial measurement, which is 43, divided by 2, where you will get 21.5, and you're going to divide this by 2. So after whatever number that you get here, you're going to take off 0.5 inches, and this will give us 21 inches, which is a round figure. So that 21 inches, you're going to divide it by 2 again, and this will give me a total of 10.5. So this is the measurement that I'm going to consider. So initial measurement divided by 2, you'll get this, minus 0.5. We are leaving room for the middle opening of the front of the shirt. So the 0.5 is here. You're going to subtract it from half of this measurement, and I'll be left with 21 inches. Now that 21, you're going to divide it by 2, which will give me a total of 10.5 inches. So we are going to repeat the same exact process as the back panel until this can measure 10.5 inches, as you can see here. You can see I have a total of 10.5 inches, and for my front panels, I did a total of 22 rows for each front panel. So I have one front panel here, and my second front panel is here. All Alright guys, as I was saying, you're going to make two front panels that are identical. So for the front panels, I did a total of 22 rows for each, and this is what I have. Now, after your front panels, you're going to put them aside, you're going to fold them over and put them aside. Now, we're going on to the sleeves. For the sleeves, we are going to consider the armhole. All right, so for the sleeves, the length that I'm considering is 6 inches. And then the armhole that I am considering for this design is 20 inches. So for this particular measurement, I started with a chain of 102 for my sleeve, because the armhole that I am considering is 20 inches. So 102 gave me my armhole measurement, as you can see here, 20 inches. So 102, and I did a total of 14 rows in order to get my sleeve length, which is 6 inches, as you can see here. So you're going to the pattern remains the same. Follow the same exact pattern as the one for the back panel. The only difference is the number of starting chains differs depending on which panel that you're making. So this is my sleeve. It's the smallest of them all. And you're going to make your second sleeve identical to the first sleeve. So we have our two sleeves here, and then we have our two front panels here, and then we have the biggest panel, which is the back panel. So you should have a total of 5 panels altogether. So now we're going to go onto the assembling part of this shirt. Alright guys, now that we are through with all the panels, we're going to go ahead and attach them. So this is my back panel. The biggest panel is the back panel. And then we have two front panels. I'm going to show you the bigger picture of what it's supposed to look like on the floor. So the two front panels are going to attach onto the back panel, just like this. And then we have the sleeves that are going to go onto the side of our shirt, just like that. So let's see the bigger picture in our next clip. Let me lay them down properly onto the ground so that we can see exactly how we are going to join them. Alright guys, this is how the bigger picture looks like. I had to find a background with a contrasting color from black so that we can see the exact stitch that we are dealing with. So we have our back panel here, we have our two front panels here, and then we have the sleeves. So we're going to go ahead and attach our front panels onto the back panel somewhere around here, but not totally, as you'll see later on in the video, because we want to create that kind of opening on the front panel. So we're going to go ahead and attach some rows, leaving out some rows on the inner opening of the two front panels so that we can be able to fold. And another thing I would advise is to have the foundation chain of your piece, of your front panels on the edges. So make sure that the foundation chain of your front panel is on this side, and I'll turn this one so that the foundation chain of this second front panel is also on the edge. So that's basically it. That's what we are going to do. So let's get back onto our desk. Alright guys, now that you've seen what's going on, we're going to just have the front panels on top of our work like this. And for me, I prefer to have the foundation chain on the edges, just as you can see here. The foundation chain of the front panel should be on the edge. And this is going to be the wrong side of my work, but basically both sides should look exactly the same. So I'm going to just choose which one to consider the wrong side of the work. So I'm going to go into each and every row. Now, when it comes to this opening here in the middle of the shirt, I'm going to eliminate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to eliminate around 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So at this point, I don't have a stitch marker with me right now. So I'll just use that darning needle to mark that point. So I'm going to attach the top of the front panel and the top of the back panel, placing 2 single crochets in each and every row until I have 8 rows left on the front panel, where I've marked the row with the stitch marker or the darning needle. The darning needle is acting as my stitch marker. So I'm going into each and every row with 2 single crochets, attaching the 2 panels together. And this is the shoulder seam, as you can see here. I'm sorry about the black color, but I hope I'm explaining it well. So 2 single crochets in each and every row towards the stitch marker. As I'm working, I'll keep laying down my work so that you can see exactly what's going on, to make things simpler to understand. So 2 single crochets in each and every row. All right, so we've reached the row before the one with the stitch marker. So I can just go ahead and remove it. And look what we have, guys. We have joined the back panel and the front panel, but leaving out 8 rows of the front panel. This will create the neckline opening. So from here, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. We're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the opposite side, so you can see the shoulder seam. So I'm going to just go ahead. The fact that I'm right-handed, that means this time I'm going to just do my work like this. I'm going to place my work like this, and then I'm going to count 8 rows. 1, 2, 8 rows of the front panel from the middle of the shirt. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And in case you have a different, what can I say, tension from mine, I am considering a distance of about 3 inches away from the exact middle of the shirt. So approximately 3.5 inches or 3 inches should be enough, where the shirt will open up like this. So I hope that is actually giving a better view. So I'm going to go ahead and join the 2 panels, the back panel and this front panel, from the outside edge. Remember, you should place your work in a way that the foundation chain of your front panel is on the edge. This will ensure that we have a very neat finish here in the middle of the shirt. So you're going to attach your yarn in the very first row and start placing 2 single crochets in each and every row. until the row that's marked with our stitch marker, which is our darning needle. All right, so I'm just cross-checking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That means one more row to be attached. All right, so we are done attaching the second shoulder seam. And from here, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. All right, now you have your front panels joined onto the back panel, but not entirely because we are still doing some shaping around here. So this is what you have. Now you're going to turn your work to the side where we have the bump of the single crochet. That's the wrong side of your work. And we're going to introduce our sleeves. Let me get mine. All right, guys, to give you a bigger picture of what's happening, this is exactly what we have at the moment. Now we're going to go ahead and attach our sleeves as I'm going to explain in my next clip. All right, guys, now that we know what we have at the moment, you're going to identify the exact middle of the sleeve. For me, this is the point that is the exact middle of the sleeve, and I'm going to attach it along the line, that middle seam line that we just created with the bump. Make sure your work is on the wrong side. So I'm going to work this side and then also come back to this side. But in order to do that, in order to make sure I balance my work, I have to start from the center. So we're going to first attach our first sleeve. So what I've marked right now is the exact middle of the sleeve. And it's the one that's supposed to align with the seam line that we just created here. So what I'm going to do is leave a long tail behind so that it's the one that's going to work on the second half of the sleeve while attaching. And I'm going to attach this chain right after the stitch marker. Just find the best way to attach this sleeve onto what we already have. So for me, I'm going to still go into the chain 1 spaces or the chain spaces, and I place 2 single crochets, and then I go into the next space and the next space on the shirt body with 2 single crochets. That's all that I'm going to do, placing 2 single crochets in each space. So this is kind of gathering. I don't know why. Oh, it's actually fine. It's not gathering my work. Make sure your stitches are not very tight. So just go all the way across with 2 single crochets in each chain space. And don't forget to also, when you're attaching your sleeves, your foundation chain should be the side that you're attaching onto the body of the shirt. Don't leave your foundation chain on this side. My foundation chain of the sleeve is on this side. So continue to attach your sleeve onto the body of the shirt. Make sure your stitches are not very tight so that you don't distort the shape of the shirt. We wouldn't want to create loose, tightly fitted sleeves. If you feel like this is a bit tight for you, then you're going to go with 3 single crochets instead of 2. I feel like it should have been 3 single crochets, but mine, I am kind of stitching loosely so that I don't distort the shape of the sleeve. Alright guys, I am attaching my last chain space, and then I'll attach the stitches after that just to finish up the whole sleeve. And then make a chain of 1, cut your yarn. So we are done attaching this first half of the sleeve. We're going to go ahead and attach the second half of the sleeve onto the front panel, because this is the side of the front panel. This half has gone to the back panel. So using the tail that you left behind, that long tail that I told you to leave behind, we're going to turn our work, because I can only work in one direction. I can't work in both directions. So I'm going to turn my work and use the tail that I left behind and start attaching the same exact way that I've done on the first half of the shirt. So 2 single crochets in each chain space. Alright, so I'm done with the second half of the sleeve, and this is what we have, guys. Look at that. We are done attaching our first sleeve onto the body of the shirt. So let's see what we have right now. Alright guys, for the bigger picture, this is exactly what you're going to have. You're going to repeat the same exact process for the second sleeve, as you can see here, and then I'll meet you back to show you what to do next. Alright guys, after attaching both the sleeves, both on this side and on the opposite side, this is exactly what you're going to have. Now we're going to fold our work into half along this line here, and I'm going to show you what you're going to have after that. Alright, so when you fold over your work, this is exactly what you're going to have. We're going to go ahead and join the sides of our shirt, both on the sleeve, along the side, and along this line. And to do that, we are going to just place 2 single crochets in each chain space and 1 single crochet in the chain with the 3 double crochets. Then when it comes to this side, under the sleeve, you're going to go in with 3 single crochets in each and every row, while attaching this side to this side and this side to this side, all the way across. I'm going to get back on my desk and I show you exactly what to do, but that's basically it. We're going to join the sides together, and then we shall go on to our next step. All right, so we are back on my desk, and you're going to make sure that you folded your work on the wrong side, so that we can have these bumpy single crochet rows on only the wrong side, not the right side of our work. So as you can see, the side that has this single crochet seam line is the same exact side that I want to have the seam line on the side and under the armpit of my piece. So I'm going to go all the way from under the armpit or under the sleeve to the side of the shirt. So you're going to grab your yarn, and as I had mentioned, you are going to make a slip knot and get your hook, and you're going to just go in each and every row on the lower part of the sleeve with 3 single crochets. So just attach your yarn there and place 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then go into the next row. 1, 2, and 3. So the black color may not be the best to demonstrate with, but I hope the explanation is just fine to take you through the instructions. So just go all the way under the sleeve with 3 single crochets in each and every row until you get to the side of the shirt, and I'll show you how to attach that part as well. All right guys, so we are attaching our last row with 3 single crochets, and that means the under part of our sleeve is joined in the round, as you can see this. Now we're going to go onto the side of our piece, and we're going to attach using 1 single crochet in each chain with the 3 double crochets, and then in each chain space you're going to place 2 single crochets. So that's the repeat for the side of the shirt. So in each chain with the 3 double crochets you place 1 single crochet, and in the chain space you place 2 single crochets, just like that. So you're going to repeat that all the way down the shirt. All right guys, we are through with this part. We've gone all the way down the side of the shirt, and I am joining my last stitches, as you can see here. So placing 2 single crochets into the last chain space, and then into the last chain with the 3 double crochets you're going to make a single crochet, and that means the side of the shirt is joined. Now you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, leaving behind a tail to weave in, of course. And this is what we have, guys. The sleeve is attached, and the side of the shirt is attached, and under the sleeve is also attached. We're going to repeat the same exact process for our second side. Just fold over your work onto the wrong side and attach on the side of the shirt as well as under the sleeve. And I'll meet you back after that. All right, guys, I noticed something that I had to explain before I went ahead to finish this side. I noticed that on one side I have a foundation chain of this row. So we have the chains that have the 3 double crochets and then the chain space. And then on this side I have the 3 double crochets and then the chain 1 space. So what I did, let me just unravel a few stitches so that I can show you what I did. So after going into the chain spaces, after going into the chain space 2 times, you consider the middle stitch of the 3 double crochets on this side, and then attach it into the chain with the 3 double crochets on the opposite side. That's it. And then you go into the chain space. So you skip over this double crochet and go into the chain 1 space and the chain space on this side, and place your 2 single crochets. And then consider the middle stitch of the 3 double crochets on this side and attach it into the chain with the 3 double crochets on the opposite side with a single crochet. And then go into the chain space on each side with 2 single crochets, just like that. And then consider the middle stitch of the 3 double crochets here and the chain with the 3 double crochets on the opposite side. Place a single crochet, and then into the chain space you place 2 single crochets, and then in the last stitch here you're going to insert your hook, and then insert your hook into the chain with the 3 double crochets on the opposite side and place a single crochet. I hope that makes sense and makes it a little bit easier, because some people may not know how to join the opposite side. So after that, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. So basically, we are done joining both sides. And right now, the basic shape of your shirt should be achieved by now. You're going to flip over your work onto the right side, just like this, and then flip over your work onto the right side, on the second side as well. So you're going to have your shirt looking like this. I'm going to give you the bigger picture on the floor so that you can see what everything looks like. Guys, after joining the sides of the shirt, this is exactly what you're going to get. This is the right side of my work. So I won't be having that bump of the single crochet row. That bump is on the wrong side of the work. But when you fold it over, you won't be seeing any bump. This is the seam line of our shirt. And basically, we are through with the general structure of our shirt. And for me, I'm not going to tamper with this area here. If you want to go ahead and attach buttons, please feel free to do that. But for me, I want my shirt to be more of a throw-on, very easygoing. And I'm going to go ahead and do some shaping on the collar of the shirt. But when it comes to the midsection, I'm going to just leave it as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and create a collar for our shirt. And let's go back onto the desk to see exactly how to do that. But all in all, I am happy with the results so far. I think this is really pretty, lightweight, and yeah, it's not very heavy. So it's something that is actually practical. So let's go back on the desk and we create our collar. Guys, since the general color of my shirt is black, I'm going to go ahead and still attach a black collar on my shirt. Just this time around, I think I should use a double strand. I'm just thinking. I don't know how that will turn out to be, but I'm just thinking I should use a double strand for the collar so that it becomes a little bit stiff. Now you see this upper opening where we eliminated 8 rows of the front panels without joining them to the back panel. You're going to attach your yarn on one of the corners. So I'll attach mine here and work all the way around that opening back and forth. So attach your yarn in the very first row. You don't have to use a double strand if you don't want to. So you can use a single strand if you wish. So I'm going to make a chain of 3 and place 2 more double crochets into the very first row. So that's a total of 3 double crochets. And now I'm going to go ahead and place 3 double crochets in each row of the front panel. 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. And you're going to go all the way across until you get to the back panel. All right, guys, we are done with the rows of the front panel, as you can see here. Now we're going to cross over to the back panel and do the same exact thing. 3 double crochets in each row of the back panel. So we're basically going all the way around, placing 3 double crochets in each row around this opening, as you can see here, all the way around like this, and then you come back to this point, and I'll meet you back when I make it all the way back to the opposite side. All right, so we are done making it all the way across from this side all the way to this side. So the next row, I'm not going to start working back and forth, just across the double crochet stitches that we just placed for the previous row. And I'm going to just make a chain of 3 and turn my work, place a double crochet into the next double crochet into the next double crochet, And just keep doing this until you make it all the way to the opposite side. And you're going to repeat that until you have a total of 4 to 5 rows. That will depend on the thickness of the collar that you want. But I'll choose in between 4 and 5, and I'll be back to show you what my work will look like. So you just make a chain of 3 and turn your work and place 1 double crochet in each double crochet from the previous row of the collar. Alright guys, we are through with our 5 rows. I ended up doing a total of 5 rows, and this thickness is about 7 inches, and that's enough for my shirt. And that's basically it. I'm going to leave my shirt just as you see it here, and let's see the final look of our project. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to check out the written pattern as well as the related projects. As you can see in this image, this shirt can be a throw-on our previous granny stitch crochet set. It will create a very lovely crochet piece. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.